It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is a nerd breaking news. We've been having conversations about the NBA playoffs for the last couple of weeks, and within our own conversation, we started talking about how each player's impact would change if they were to win those championships. So we decided that we wanted to do a video like this for you guys, where we were going to see exactly how winning the NBA championship and winning the finals will change how we view certain stars in these teams. So let's go ahead and do that. But first, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss an episode. And also, don't forget to check us out on Spotify and on YouTube. I'll have the links on the comments below. And let's go ahead and get started, and we'll go straight in. And I'll let anybody just kind of jump in, and we'll talk about the first two players over here. Let's talk about Thunder, OKC, and the Golden State Warriors, SGA, and Stephen Curry. Who wants to take it?
I'll take it. So if Steph Curry wins one more ring, this whole LeBron era argument ends. Whether that extra ring is this year, next year, or the year after, no more LeBron era talk. Because when you're looking at Steph Curry, we will be saying that he's had over a decade of being a factor in the playoffs, which is about the same as LeBron. So when you're looking at it, that'll be a huge win. Plus, he can say that he turned regular mediocre players into household names or Hall of Famers. Who is Draymond Green without Steph Curry? Who is Klay Thompson without Steph Curry? Who is Kevin Durant without Steph Curry? We're seeing it right now. The answer is very good, but you wouldn't say generational anymore. So, and now look at him and Jimmy Butler. He's making Jimmy Butler's game look so much easier now. So, yeah, it would do a lot for Steph Curry. SGA, though, needs one, because if he has one, he enters a conversation with Dwayne Wade towards the end of his career. If he doesn't, it's him and Harden. And I wouldn't want that comparison if I'm him. That's my 10 cents.
Yeah, SGA gets a ring. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is how it is. It's the worst Hall of Fame in the history of sports. And then if Steph Curry wins one, even looking at his resume, and I know that TK might get some analytics later, but it'll be very impressive if Stephen Curry gets his fifth ring in the so-called LeBron era. It will be a huge detriment to the LeBron fans out there, because this guy essentially is doing it with less people. He's smaller. He had knee injuries coming out of college. And Kevin Durant would not have rings without him. Klay Thompson wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame without him. Draymond Green, also. He completely changed the franchise. The franchise was trash for 20 years. I had Monty Ellis shooting 35% from the field on a given night. Well, I don't know what you want to do with that. So, yeah, Stephen Curry, if he gets a ring, he becomes the top 5 player in the history of basketball. SGA, Hall of Fame.
Okay, yeah, and then just to kind of add on Stephen Curry. Go ahead, Eagle. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad, TK. No, I was just going to say that, with SGA, I think he fulfills the promise that neither Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, or who's the third guy? James Harden. Right, couldn't do it in OKC. Right, is bring a ring to the Thunder franchise, which to be completely honest, has had a lot of talent through the years. But couldn't win a championship, couldn't put it together, and we all know how many picks they have, and they will have in the years to come. That's their thing. They find really good players with potential, and they basically go to the top teams, and they basically ask for a bunch of picks. And it was just getting tired, right? If you think about the experiment that they did when Paul George, probably a lot of people don't remember Paul George coming to OKC and playing alongside Russell Westbrook, also failed, which is exactly the same thing that is happening in Denver. But that's a discussion for another day. So again, it will fulfill the premise that other talented players couldn't at OKC. And then we would talk about how many rings can this nucleus get if they eventually get a ring, because the presumption would be that they would be beating the Celtics um, in the NBA Finals if everything goes according to plan. And then obviously we would have to talk about the road to the finals, right? Probably beating Golden State or the Minnesota Timberwolves to get to the NBA Finals. And then for Curry, I think both the professor and the kid explained it very well, cementing Stephen Curry as probably top five, top 10 in the history of the game. Going into the fact that he literally changed the game. He changed the game, and this is like how the NBA players play the game, how GMs, put together a roster, but also outside of the NBA courts, right, and on the streets. People like us, we started looking at the game differently, and we basically started. We went from a lot of people hitting a jumper, basically yelling, Jordan or Kobe, to basically saying Curry now from three. So it would be a pretty big accomplishment. And then even if he doesn't win it, and he ends up, his career with only 4 rings, I think we still talk about Stephen Curry maybe making it top 15 for sure, top maybe in some other people's list, top 10 in history of the NBA.
I think he's already top 10.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I won't get too much on the analytics in this video, but like me and the kid kind of ran through it, and we kind of like saw statistically, like looking through the careers and championships, and based on that, how many championships have you won? Stephen Curry has a better record than LeBron James. And even though we call it the LeBron James era, in my opinion, we went from Magic to Jordan to Kobe to Curry. And that's kind of how I see it. I don't really see it as the LeBron era, just because Curry statistically is just a little bit better than LeBron's, even though LeBron has all the accolades that goes with his name. But that kind of comes along with 22 years, coming 23 years next season if he plays. Eventually, you were going to hit some, right? That's how I kind of see it, So let's move on to the next. We have Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert from the Minnesota Timberwolves. What do you guys think about how things would change for them if they were to win the NBA Finals?
I'll go quickly. Anthony Edwards is a Hall of Famer, and he's probably the face of the league if he wins it this year. And then for Rudy Gobert, it shuts everybody up because he's probably the worst defensive player in the history of the league.
I will say he's done a really good job this series, though. He's I saw him make Luka Doncic look a little stupid a few times. That's really hard to do.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
No, it's not. Luka Doncic is not conditioned, so
neither is he.
Rudy Gobert is in good shape.
He's in good shape for Rudy Gobert, but he's still Rudy Gobert. It's like watching a giraffe run, bro. Like, no.
That's fair.
Yeah, not too much to say here. I would be excited to see how they move forward, because they have a really good roster. Anthony Edwards. I mean, I have to say, Julius Randle getting a ring. I didn't have that in my 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that, and then for Gobert, maybe some validation to validate some of his defensive player of the years that he won in years past. I mean, the most recent ones was 2024, which is, I'm perplexed to see that, but that's the case, I guess. But being completely honest, those years are over, because Wemby's here, and even though he's injured, hopefully the NBA can put some plasma into his knees and his entire body, and then he can finally play. I don't know, for the next 8 years or 10 years. Give me 10 years of Wemby, and nobody will be talking about Rudy Gobert.
Nobody
winning a championship for good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think really anybody's talking about Rudy in that way, but I think it kind of just gives him a little extra accolade to his all defensive stuff that he's done over his career so far. and potentially put him in the Hall of Fame. And so we all know it's really, really bad there. But winning that championship gives him that little extra push to give him the shot. Let's look at the Lakers, the franchise for the NBA. We have LeBron James, obviously the biggest name in this list that we have over here, and Luka Doncic, who is the next generation talent that people are talking about. Who wants to jump on this one?
I'll take it. So either one of them wins a ring, it would mean absolutely nothing. So if Luka wins a ring, they're gonna say he had to join LeBron to do it, and folks are gonna say, "Ugh." And if LeBron wins the ring, they're gonna say, "Well, Luka had to join you to do it. You couldn't do it with AD." Ugh. So either way, nothing changes. Sorry.
As much as I love that, there's going to be a huge percentage of insufferable Laker fans and Bron fans and Luka fans who are going to say that Luka Doncic won a ring, and so that he's a made man. But Luka, I think if Luka ever wins a ring, I don't know if he will. It all depends because his body's horrible. But I think if he ever wins a ring, he's going to pull a Jamal Murray in Denver Nuggets. He's going to say, I got one ring. I'm done. I don't need to be working that hard anymore. It is what it is. Because he's young and he still doesn't try on defense, which is like insane. Like he doesn't care about defense. It's very obvious he doesn't care. I think if you go over to give him a ring plus his accolades, he's not going to care. With LeBron, ESPN, the talking heads, the majority of them, and his fanatics are going to use this to be like, look, he tied Kobe and he's better than Mike.
Yep. Yep, I agree. Now, here's the thing. There's no denying. 5 is not 6. And we can talk about how many times LeBron went to the finals and lost, which are many. But 5 is 5, and that would put him in a really special category of players who have won 5 rings. And then especially LeBron with, even though Luka Doncic is, the main focus on offense, the team that the Lakers have this season is just it's a misfit roster, if you will. So he has a lot of his shoulders, if you will. But I don't know what we have the Lakers here, TK. Man, they're down 3-1. It's impossible that they win a ring this year, and I don't know. The professor said something about farewell tour next year for LeBron, which I totally agree. I mean, I don't think he's getting more PEDs in his body anymore. So yeah, I don't think he has too much in the tank, if that's the phrase that they're using anymore. So maybe we can focus more on Luca, but like the kid said, like even losing those pounds, I mean, he still had time to go eat a burrito that broke his stomach ache. He couldn't play well.
Nothing to begin with.
Yeah. So listen, man. Again, you have enough money to hire a private chef. Like, why are we not doing that? Is he on your payroll and you're just not? You're sneaking out and still eating Chipotle? Like, what's going on?
And actually,
I
to
don't
the
want to
Eagles
hear that.
point, you're a teammate with LeBron James, and this man has private chefs all day long. You don't say, "Yo, bro," like
You don't care enough. You don't, Jay, you don't care enough. You don't care enough. Yeah.
Correct. All right, and to answer Eagle, the reason why I have the Lakers here is no lie, the algorithm. We all want the algorithm. we want the Lakers. We're looking at the Denver Nuggets. We got Nikola Jokic and Russell Westbrook, I guess, in here. Jump in there.
Nikola Jokic gets his second ring. He becomes a top 10 player in history. His accolades are nasty. He's already viewed by a lot of people in the talking heads, in the podcast world, in the ESPN world. And stuff. He's already viewed as a top 10 player. He's already viewed as a top 5 center. Another championship playoff run would essentially put him in tie with David Robinson, tie with the Dream, and then you will have to be like, are there 4 other centers better than him in NBA history? Yeah, they are. He's number 5. And then Russell Westbrook gets a ring, then it validates all the nonsense that he's been doing the last 7-8 years. The whole running away, the turnovers, looking for stats, Westbrook, that he gets mad every time somebody calls him that, which, hey, Russ, focus, make your shot, and people won't call you Westbrook, bro. Jesus. And Russell Westbrook is in the James Harden category, right? They have an MVP. They were great individual players with their teams, but yet come playoff time, they both choke, and they're both clowns. So for him, it will be like, he's already a Hall of Famer. He's already I don't know where he is in the point guard world. Maybe top 15 or something like that. But it'll put some respect on Russell Westbrook. I think he needs it.
Yeah, and it will kind of move him up on that list too.
For Jokic, where it's complicated is for him to make it in the top 10, folks would have to agree that he's more dominant than Shaq. And I think it's going to take more than one ring for people to be willing to do that. I think that for him to eventually get there, it's going to take quite a bit. So I don't think this one ring would quite do it for him. So I don't think it would be as impactful. I think that most people would agree he's probably already top 15. The real question is where in the top 15 is he? But does it really matter? I don't think so. For Westbrook, though, I think with Westbrook's career, you have to ask yourself an interesting question. Who is the second greatest point guard who's still playing? We know who the first is, but who's the second?
And
Chris Paul,
CP3.
Chris Paul and Stephen Curry.
Oh, my bad. Third best. I think you're right. You're right.
I don't know. A lot of people are going to say probably Dame, and his prime was better than Russell Westbrook.
Exactly. So when you're looking at that third spot, you've got a real argument between Dame, Westbrook, and Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
But when you're looking at Westbrook's body of work, even considering the misses, and you're thinking about those triple-double records and the way that he did it, there's a pretty good chance that when all is said and done, his name will be there as third in this generation. Because Kyrie needed some extra help to get that ring, when we know he's not getting that ring without LeBron. And in Dame's case, he hasn't done anything. Like nothing. So in Westbrook's case, when you're looking at all those accolades right there, yeah, man, he probably actually is the third greatest point guard in this generation. And I think what we have to also consider is you look at his game and you're like, oh my God, he screws everything up in clutch time. Well, what kind of teams will go ahead and add a Russell Westbrook to their bench? A bad one. He consistently has played on really bad teams for quite a bit. If you're the Nuggets, who do you want taking the last shot if Jokic isn't available? Who? Jamal Murray? Sometimes. Yeah. But are you going to give it Michael Porter Jr.? Not lately. Aaron Gordon? Not lately. If you're Westbrook, do you trust them to make that shot over you? Never. I'll take my 50-50 chances. I don't care. And to me, considering that logic, I think that he would be remembered completely differently as a guy who took risks if he got a chip, rather than the guy who made a lot of mistakes.
What do you think, Eagle?
Yeah, I agree with what you guys said. It was a good reference, the whole thing about whether people are ready to give Jokic a place in the top 10 over Shaquille O'Neal. I don't think anybody is. But his resume is just so good. Like, he's had some amazing years, you know? The fact that he has 3 MVPs, and we still talk about the fact that there's one that got away, right? Because SGA apparently is going to get this one. And then the one that was given to Embiid, you know, because it was given. It was given. He asked for it, and he cried for it, and he got it.
Yeah.
So what? 5 MVPs? I think that, you know, one, for some reason in the NBA, you can have more than 3 MVPs and only 1 ring. If you're going to have 4 MVPs or more, apparently you need 2 rings. That's how it goes. Apparently that's the math according to the NBA Hall of Fame. So that's one of the reasons, you know, my theory on why they haven't, you know, selected him. And also, I mean, I'm not trying to take away anything from SGA. I think he had enough numbers last season. Maybe if Jokic didn't have the season that he had last year, then maybe we wouldn't complain so much. But I would have been fine if he won it this year or last year. But you know, Jokic was so dominant. And then, you know, another ring would put him in the spot where he's like, yo, I'm good enough. I'm top 15. I know that from Jokic's perspective. I know we talk about how much it matters to LeBron, you know, to be at the top and be considered the best player. And that's why he sends his whole media company and everybody who's on the budget to basically go make that argument for him. Jokic doesn't care. He could literally just basically retire right now. He couldn't care less about what his place in NBA history. And to be honest, I think, you know, top 10, the professor's right. Two more. I think it's a combination of one more MVP and one more ring, and then we would have an endless conversation. It would be based more on opinion than facts. I like Jokic better. I like people probably who didn't get to see Shaquille dominance as a player would probably go that way. That's the route
Yeah,
we're going.
that's a great point.
In
we
regards to
talk
Russell
about
Westbrook,
that. We talk about that a lot about that with like LeBron James too.
Great
About
point.
it depends. It's just
yeah,
it right
the
there. You're
comparison with
seeing it
LeBron.
now, and you didn't see the other players, so you really can't visually be able to say to be able to compare them.
Yeah, but the games are there and the highlights are there. And then pivoting to Russell Westbrook, it
Oh,
wouldn't
sorry.
change anything for me. No, you're good. It wouldn't change anything for me, to be honest. I mean, I know he had an MVP. He broke the record doing a triple double or whatever. But man, I feel so bad for him because he has. I don't know, man. It just it's I don't know how he's still in the NBA. To be completely honest, I know
He's
he does
horrible.
the
He's so bad.
yeah, and he walks around with certain attitude like, yo, I belong here because I've earned this. And to be completely honest, that's not fair. There's a lot of young guys in the NBA who deserve an opportunity. And I'm not saying Russell Westbrook is taking away because he's coming from the bench. It's not like he's starting, you know. But
Mhm.
if Denver doesn't make it to the second round, which is what it looks like, then if I'm Russell Westbrook, I'm thinking seriously about not playing in the NBA anymore. Hey, you want to do a farewell tour for next year, man? But I think we had enough of Russell Westbrook.
Hold on a second now. Let's see his stats. Wait a minute now.
I'll give you a hot take. Russell Westbrook's triple double is not viewed the same way as Nikola Jokic.
Well, because they're two different positions.
I get it, but what I'm saying, when Russell Westbrook did, I think he did it 2 years in a row.
You did.
When he did it the first time, we were like, "Oh, somebody did it the first time since Oscar Robertson. That's cool." But when we saw the eye test of what he was doing, and it was so obvious that he was telling people to move a certain way so he get the rebounds and get his stats, his reputation diminished so badly that when Nikola Jokic got the triple double for the first time in NBA history for a center, they didn't even acknowledge or even brought up Russell Westbrook. And 5 years ago, we were saying, "Damn, Russell Westbrook, that's amazing." What I'm arguing is, in the last 5 years, his reputation has taken such a hit in the basketball community that people don't give him, fairly or not fairly, the same level of reverence as we give Nikola Jokic for what he just did.
Well, we know who to blame for that. There are two groups of people to blame for that.
LeBron.
One,
LeBron.
and the other is Skip Bayless. So what ends up happening is because he gets blamed for all these losses, because folks look at his misses and no one else's, which is very odd to me. Because when you're looking at his stats, do you know what his field goal percentage is for the season?
I say like 40.
It's 44%. That's not bad. He's averaging.
Who did you play with?
Correct.
For a shooting guard,
top 10 player in basketball history.
But he's a point guard coming off the bench. He's a sixth man at this point. So when you're looking at his numbers, he's giving you great six-man numbers, and he should be rated as a six-man. So when you're looking at it, because he gets excess attention, folks are pointing out all these deficiencies in his game, but he's a six-man. What we should be talking about in terms of players who underperformed are the players who underperformed based on the rules for their teams. We should be talking about Michael Porter Jr. more than we're talking about Russell Westbrook. We should be talking about people like Tyler Hero, who stunk up the bed.
The difference is that to the Eagles' credit, Russell Westbrook, nobody has told him he's a six man. He walks around. He walks around like it's 2014. He still thinks he's Russell Westbrook in OKC. The problem is he's been trashed for 5. You don't remember when he joined Harden in the bubble, right?
Are you talking about with the Clippers?
With the Rockets. And they joined, and they lost in the second round to the Lakers in the bubble 5 years ago. And that was the year after the Rockets just won 67 games and they went down 14. Who do they blame that year?
Him.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
But
I'm arguing this has been going on for the last 5 years. People have been pointing and saying you are the reason why we're trash.
But here's the thing: do we remember what we were saying about James Harden when he was on the Rockets? Every single year, it was someone else's fault. Remember when they said it was Chris Paul's fault?
I remember that.
Sure did. Remember when he said Chris Capella? When he said it was Clint Capella's fault?
As
Sure
much as
did.
me and you don't like Harden, Harden gets destroyed.
That's true. He did.
A lot.
He did.
But he
He
gets
took a
destroyed.
lot of blame in Houston.
But he gets destroyed. He got destroyed a lot in the end because at a certain point, he ran out of scapegoats.
Yes.
But after a while, they were like, "Wait, you said it was this guy."
And you're also forgetting within the last 5 years, what team did he play for as well? 2 seasons with the Lakers, and they were booing. Yeah. The Laker fans were literally yelling, "Don't shoot at home."
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What I'm arguing is fair or not fair. Unfortunately, we look at Russell Westbrook differently in 2025 than we did in 2015.
To your point, yeah, totally agree with you.
Yeah,
fair or not fair. That's what I'm saying.
Totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think winning championship would actually change that perspective for him.
Yeah.
And also people, especially like again, it's something that we're seeing now. Everything that we saw in the past from him and all his horrible shooting, all that stuff, kind of goes into the background. If this becomes kind of like the limelight of him winning this title.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Clippers. So we have Kawhi and James Harden in this seat. Well, how would that impact if the Clippers were to win it?
If Kawhi Leonard gets a championship, I believe he will be the only player to get 3 championships with 3 different teams, wouldn't he?
LeBron did it.
Oh, crap. Yeah. You're right. I don't know him. Yeah, you're right. Oh.
Here's all right. I'll try to get out of that situation. Kawhi Leonard wins a ring, he will be the 3rd best small forward in NBA history, behind LeBron and Larry Bird.
Whoa.
2, any comparisons with Kevin Durant are done. I think they shouldn't even be compared because Kawhi Leonard led a team by his damn self, unlike Kevin Durant. And then Kawhi Leonard, for all his faults with the whole resting and all that stuff, a 3rd ring would put him in top 15. And then for James Harden, who I love to criticize. I'm one of the people that I just love it. I wake up and James Harden did a turnover. Love it. He's already a Hall of Famer. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I can get in there with 3 years playing bench. Apparently, anybody can get in there. He's already a Hall of Famer. I just think 1 ring would put the delusional fans of his competing against Dwayne Wade, and I think that's the greatest insult in the history of shooting guards. And to be fair to him, he's already a top 10 shooting guard. People want to say he's top 5. I think a ring will put him in the Clyde Drexler, right? Clyde Drexler won a couple of rings, or won a ring with Houston, and he was amazing. He's in that range. That's what people will probably say.
Yeah, I would love for Kawhi to get a 3rd ring, to be honest. Like the kid was saying, leading a team is a different story, man.
Mm-hmm.
It would put him in a different category. And then we would talk about the opportunities that he had where he didn't win a ring, because of injuries, right? How many injuries? And to be completely honest, it would be very amazing because there was a point last year where a lot of people were, I think even Kendrick Perkins was suggesting that he should retire from the NBA. Because it was like, and listen, I'll tell you this. I know the Clippers didn't trust in Paul George, and they packed his bags and sent him to Philadelphia. Everybody was happy, but they knew that they could trust one man because when that knee got ready, didn't matter the age, Kawhi was going to be ready. Kawhi, under the limited time that he would come on the court, during all these years that he was injured, and he's ready. He's ready. He would play a few games, and they were like, "Oh, still hurts." He would show up. Like Kawhi could have easily gained weight, lost his touch. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong with this guy just because of the injury that he had, right, on both knees, and that hasn't been the case. So props to him. The ultimate professional. I would love for him to get a 3rd ring, to be completely honest. And then for James Harden, I don't think it changes, nothing much in terms of my perception. Should he had a ring already? Probably, but he was facing the dynasty of the Golden State Warriors for like 2-3 seasons in a row, and they did everything in their power to get him as much help as possible to defeat that team. Wasn't going to happen. It was a dynasty, so obviously. I guess he has an MVP. I don't know. I feel better about him than Russell Westbrook, to be completely honest. Even though there's a lot to criticize about James Harden, um, but it's just I guess the way that Russell Westbrook, got it going the last 2 years. The whole move to the Lakers was horrible. Like you guys talked about, playing with LeBron wasn't easy. The Laker fans were unfair to him. Let's just say that they were really unfair
Yep.
to an extent.
That's true. They were not.
Um, yeah, they were not fair. And to be completely honest, I also think that it's easy to criticize a player and complain about missing shots and how horrible they miss them, but we're talking about NBA players that probably have you know mental problems and the mental aspect of the game. We don't talk about it, huh?
I'm listening to you.
Like the mental problem, and I think Russell Westbrook is one of those people that it really got in his head because in my mind I can't believe that when I saw the Russell Westbrook from the last 5 years, and then you showed me everything before that, I would have been like, "Oh my God, what happened to this guy?" Some brujeria came up to him. Something happened because
God.
yeah, literally something happened with this guy because it can't be. He wasn't playing like that. He wasn't the Russell Westbrook. Something happened to this guy. His confidence got shot. It didn't seem like the guy who literally averaged a triple double for 2 years in a row, and won an MVP. Like it just didn't seem like him. Even when he was playing with Paul George in OKC those years, he wasn't
Yeah.
this type of player that everybody looks at him like, oh my God, he's gonna lose the ball. He can't make a layup. He's gonna miss this dunk. He wasn't like that. So, you know, James Harden, he wins the ring, doesn't do anything for me to be honest. Maybe two we're talking about, but Dwayne Wade is still up there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I think that's what like his fan base is literally just salivating on waiting to happen, so they can actually be able to have that argument about James Harden and Dwayne Wade in that
Stop it.
position.
Stop it
So let's
immediately.
jump to the East. Let's jump to the East. We're gonna go right into Cleveland. Donovan mentioned and the Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton. And I am going to go straight to the
Halliburton.
Eagle because I know his favorite player is listed over here, and I want to hear his points. Go for it.
Who's favorite player?
Eagle.
No, man. Listen, TK. What is going on here? Yes, Donovan Mitchell, bro. I never thought we could be talking about this because I don't know. It seemed like he was gonna sink in Utah forever with the Mormons. No offense, um, but I think he's the same category as James Harden. I don't know what it does because he's a really good player. He's not an amazing player. I think it would mean more in the sense of like I would see it this way. Hey, at least somebody show LeBron James that you don't have to be born in Ohio to actually win the ring for Cleveland. So the whole thing about Cleveland, this is for you, and repping Cleveland, whatever. Listen, bro, somebody came, somebody did it. You're not the only one. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, I don't know what it does to me. To be completely honest, I think you would need another ring or maybe win some other award because Donovan Mitchell is a good player, but that's it. He has a few all-star selections, but that's it. It's not. And mind you, yes, he did. He made all rookie first team, but he didn't win the rookie of the year. I don't remember who won it in 18. Maybe Ben Simmons. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That was a mistake. Um, but yeah, he's just this guy who puts stats, and because you've never seen his team actually do anything with those stats, I don't know. And that's it. I don't see anything else in this chart. I see an Indiana Pacers logo, but as far as I'm concerned, this guy's right here, Tyrese. Tyrese plays basketball. The guy from the Fast and the Furious. Is that what we're talking about? Halliburton, two-time All-Star, given by the NBA, not the fans. I think we're missing something here. I think we're missing that. According to most of the NBA players polled last week, he's the most overrated player in the NBA. But I don't know what the panel has to say about this. That's all I'm gonna say. It wouldn't do anything
I'll
for me.
tell you
Halliburton.
exactly what I have to say about this. If either one of these guys wins the championship, it's an indictment on the incompetence of their previous franchise. If Donovan Mitchell wins the championship, it proves how terrible the Utah Jazz were. But more importantly, if Tyrese Halliburton wins the championship, it shows you how completely incompetent and inept the Sacramento Kings are. As a matter of fact, watch this. If Halliburton wins the championship, there might be calls for that team to get sold because that shows you just how dumb the people running that place actually are. When they literally had a championship caliber point guard and they traded him away in his second, third year in the NBA, didn't even give him a chance. Gave him no chance. I don't know what's wrong with the Eagles' finger. That King's claw he just showed me right here. That's what all the Kings fans are about to be doing.
Wait. Professor.
Halliburton wins his championship.
Professor.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Professor,
If Tyrese wins it,
wait, but Tika, you can go ahead in 2 seconds. I'm gonna check my notes real quick. Professor just called Tyrese Halliburton. He didn't even put the word potential. He hasn't won anything. I have a ring in my hand. I'm married. That guy over there, he has nothing. You just said
he's a snowboarding
potential.
championship.
Snowboarding champion. TK, go ahead, man. He's no. Man.
He learned that in Sacramento. He brought it to Indiana. That's why everybody wants to play there.
Go ahead, TK. You can't.
I was gonna say is like, if Tyrese wins it for the Pacers, Tyrese is gonna send a ring to Sacramento so they actually have something to view. But I think like them winning actually doesn't really make a big change for Tyrese. It will actually be more impactful for. I think in this two situation actually for both Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese, either them winning, I think it'll be more impactful for the city and the franchise than actually the player in this situation.
I'm gonna go quick. Both of them will be Hall of Famers if they win. It is what it is. Again, the weakest Hall of Fame in history. Donovan Mitchell wins. That's a great point by the Eagle. LeBron could miss me with that. He'll be the second player. It'll give Donovan Mitchell some respect in the NBA because he led the last 2 years the Cavaliers to a run. So give him a little respect. And for Tyrese Halliburton, who got voted most overrated player in basketball, he gets a ring. He's considered the leader. He's considered the best player. He'll be a made man. But that's a great point. What you guys said that it doesn't really change the needles in terms of where will you put them in the longevity argument because they're both shooting guards or the one's shooting guard, the one's a point guard. Good luck, dude. There's just so many people ahead of you. But what it does make them is they're a made man. They could retire tomorrow. They'll be Hall of Famers. And then for Tyrese Halliburton, who I think needs to produce more than Mitchell. Mitchell looks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Will be like, oh, he had a good run. That sucks. He almost made it. Tyrese Halliburton will always be a guy if he doesn't win a ring. He'll always be a guy like, oh yeah, he was good. He B-ish guy who's not really an A, except when he was drafted by the Kings, but the Kings didn't realize he was an A. Anyways, that's what it'll do. It wouldn't move the beetle that much. It would just be like two dudes who made the Hall of Fame, and anyways, there's people ahead of them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and I agree. All right, so let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks. We have Giannis over here and Damian Lillard, and we kind of mentioned a little bit about Damian Lillard, but let's go ahead and jump on this one.
I'm gonna go quick because they're about to get bounced, so it's real quick. Dame Lillard, him and winning is an oxymoron. They just don't go together. He doesn't know what it means to be a winner in Weber State, in Portland, in Milwaukee. Even 2K probably forced him to quit the game. He just can't win consistently. He's never been a winner. It's pretty cute when you beat a first round matchup and you put into game time, excuse me, and then you get destroyed in every other series. So again, what a ring means to Dame Lillard, it'll probably, to be honest, it will just kind of be like what we just talked about the other guys. It wouldn't move the needle too much because he's a point guard, so there's so many dudes ahead of him. Like a lot of people can make the argument that if he gets a ring and CP3 has 0, people will probably still say CP3 was better than him. And then for Giannis, he needs a ring in the next 5 years because we're gonna forget about him. Ever since it was supposed to be his era the last 5 years, and Nikola Jokic, which nobody saw coming, took over the league. It was supposed to be him because I remember that there was a time where he was winning Defensive Players of the Years. There was a time when he was winning, I think, back-to-back MVPs or something like that. Yeah, he did. There you go, 2 MVPs. But there was a time 6 years ago when he was viewed and he was getting forced by the media as the best player in basketball, and we all saw like, yeah, he's good. I don't know, he's the best. He needs something else, and he actually said it himself in a press conference that he wants to retire with at least 2, a multiple-time champion. So he needs it more than Dame Lillard because Dame Lillard is at the twilight end of his career, and Giannis is kind of been not exposed but kind of forgotten the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I will also add on top, like, obviously they're about to get bounced, but if for some miracle they were to win it and he gets that second championship, with the Milwaukee Bucks falling apart the way that they are, and seeing that, we talked about it in the last video, but most of these teams are going to be blown up. Adding that ring is also going to bring a lot of attention to Giannis to be able to land in like some major franchise that could actually get him another championship down the road. So it could literally sway how the career could be for him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. Again, Giannis owes us another ring. I don't know about the MVPs. I'm fine with the MVPs that he has. I think there's a little bit of a, how can I say this? A lot of us have forgotten about Giannis. Giannis has been putting really good numbers the last 2 years. We knew he had some injuries in the past 4 years, especially in the playoffs, getting like injured before the playoffs or during the playoffs. So he hasn't been very lucky with that. But he has so many accolades, like NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, and two MVPs, one Defensive Player of the Year, 9-time All Star. Like that is a star-studded resume. But if he wants to be at the level that everybody thought he would be 6 years ago, just like the kid said, he needs one more ring, and I think he knows it. So I think in this opinion, this year, I don't think he's a free agent yet. At least not this year. But there's got to be a serious conversation about where he's gonna go and if he's gonna force his way out of Milwaukee. If he does, a lot of people are gonna hate him, specifically in Milwaukee. But outside of that, the NBA is going to be happy. I mentioned it earlier. I think we all need Giannis to change teams. It's the same thing that Damian Lillard. It's just the fact that he went to the Bucks. It wasn't a great situation. He got so caught up with the whole thing of like, if I were somewhere else, I know it would make a difference. But listen, it's not always greener on the other side. And sometimes you get unlucky. Winning a championship is hard. Winning a ring is hard. But I still think that Giannis moves to a different situation. I don't know where. And he tries to get another ring. I mean, he owes it to himself. Then in terms of Damian Lillard, it sucks, but a ring wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't make the needle. And the kid has a point. All these players, specifically point guards, when you run the team and you make it, and then you have like a substantial part, or or you lead the team, then you probably get in the Hall of Fame. But let me ask you this real quick: is Chauncey Billups a Hall of Famer? I don't think he is. Right?
Yeah, he is.
He is. Jesus Christ! Anybody can get in. Okay. Well, listen. Anyway,
No, hold on. Hold on. Let me double check whether he's actually
He
in.
just got in last year.
He got in now? Okay, what I was going to say that his resume, because of that ring, he's in.
Yeah.
I mean, the Olympics, Finals MVP. Just saying.
Are you reading Damian Lillard or
No, Chauncey Billups? Oh, wait, are you talking about Damian Lillard again? My bad.
No, but I think Damian Lillard has the same accolades to be.
He ain't got no Finals MVP. He ain't got no Finals nothing.
No. He's missing the ring, right? That's the whole point. Like if he gets the ring, and
I mean, yeah, he would make it to the Hall of Fame. I don't think he deserves it, but he'd make it there.
Yeah, well, listen. How many times to see an all-star? Being an all-star doesn't get you into the Hall of Fame. But yeah. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to be the last one that we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at Boston, who is the presumption, the defending champions right now, and of course the kids' mecca, the New York Knicks with Jalen Brunson. So let's go and jump into this one. I'll let the kid go in there. He looks like he's excited to talk about his
Oh
boy.
Lord, don't do it. Don't let the NBA do it. This is not what people want. If the New York Knickerbockers go back to the finals for the first time since '99, they go back and they play. Who doesn't matter who they play. They could play SGA, AAA. It doesn't matter who it is. Knicks in 4. Knicks are sweeping. The Knicks is back. The NBA would improve their stock immediately after the Knicks win the championship. The Heat will look at the Knicks and be like, "That's how it's done. This is the model standard of basketball." And again, basketball needs New York. New York doesn't need basketball. Everybody needs the Mecca. And I just think if the Mecca wins, the balance will finally be back in the NBA. And I just think that, Jalen Brunson wins a ring in New York, the greatest city in history. Jalen Brunson, not only his statue will be built 2 minutes afterwards, he'll be the greatest Nick ever. He'll be better than everybody. And I just think that, one ring in New York means six in Chicago. We're gonna come to the three-peat in New York. So just 1 equals 3 in New York. We don't do the math. It's just how it is in New York. All right, for Jason.
It is in New York. They don't even do math anymore. They're like, please give us something. Please, basketball gods, please. Jalen, the Knicks are so bad off. This man said that if Jalen Brunson gets one ring, people out there, statues, retirements.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. He might even get 2 statues from one ring.
We're gonna take away the Statue of Liberty, and we're gonna put Jalen Brunson in there. We're gonna do a week of parades for the great Jalen Brunson, and then Luka Doncic is gonna be like, oh, that's how you do it, But anyways, if Jason Tatum wins a ring. Look at his accolades now. Look at his resume now. As much as I got off the bandwagon, if Jason Tatum gets one more ring and an NBA Finals MVP, Jason Tatum is the top 10 small forward.
All right. There is nothing that Jason Tatum can do to be a top 10 small forward because people will never, ever see him that way. No matter, he can win 5 championships. People will tell you Carmelo Anthony is better. And I know better, but I'm still not going to disagree because I hate Jason Tatum so much. That's how annoying and how soft he is. His softness is the reason why no matter how many championships he wins, he's not going to get all the credit. People are going to ask themselves, how good is Jaylen Brown? Every conversation about Jason Tatum is going to find its way towards Jaylen Brown just because people despise this man so much. It's also going to raise the question, how good is Drew Holiday actually? We will never know how good Drew Holiday actually is at basketball because he never really got a chance to lead a team. He's always been a role player. But when you're looking at what he does some elite level stuff. Derek White. How good is Derek White? The point being, every single time Jason Tatum does well moving forward, people are going to mention his teammates, and that's just the way it's going to be. Going back to Jalen Brunson again, because I'm not finished with that yet. If he wins a chip, it's going to mean so much for the Knicks and their psychotic fans. Their team with their name with the whole racial slur in it. They got the Mecca over here appropriating a whole other culture's thing. The Knicks are so bad off, but at the end of the day, even with the chip, no one's going to care about Jalen Brunson, and no one's ever going to mention that championship ever again. They'll be like, oh, that happened? Okay, moving on. That's how it's going to work out. Because that man has no swag, no aura, nothing.
I cannot believe when I hear the disrespect of Jason Tatum, to be completely honest.
Correct.
And I can't believe it, but I'm seeing it with my own eyes, so I have to believe it. There's no other way.
Well, he's a Heat fan. Remember, he's a Heat fan. So,
if anything, probably a lot of people have thought about this. Nobody has said it, but Jason Tatum is the new LeBron James, minus the drama queen.
You see? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Keep going.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on. You lost me there. What?
No. Let him cook. Let him cook. Go ahead.
Exactly. He's the type of player who is he, the media puts him as he's the best, right? He is that man. He's that guy. He can't, at least LeBron was winning, or he was given the finals MVPs, but he can even win the finals MVP on his own when he's leading the team. LeBron was never benched when he went to the Olympics, but I guess that's Jason Tatum, coming off of a great, championship run. And then, it's good when you're in Boston and they build a team around you where literally everybody could be a star in their own team, minus Derek White. Nobody would make Derek White their own star. However, they would make him.
Hold on. That Pritchard guy, he's not a starter. Come on. Stop playing.
No, but that's why he won the sixth man of the year. That's fine. He fits in the whole Boston system. He's white, and
The team is
he
loaded.
makes threes.
The team is
The team
loaded.
is loaded, and that's exactly what LeBron was looking every time he won a championship, right?
Mhm.
Like when he left, he went to Miami because it was loaded. He left Miami, he went to Cleveland because it was loaded. When he got to the Lakers, what did he get? He got Anthony Davis, and he got the whole NBA go on for months. You better give me Anthony Davis, just like I got when he. You remember when he got to Cleveland, and it wasn't enough that Kyrie Irving was there,
Oh no, they
and
were
he
crying for
literally
Kevin Love. Crying for Kevin
and
Love.
Kevin Love.
They got Deion Waiters out there. They got Wiggins out there real fast.
Yep.
Yep.
He just drafted and he basically said deuces, they said bye. So I think Jason Tatum is the same thing because before they got the star-studded team and before they got Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, okay? Before that, what would we talk about? We would talk about the Boston Celtics getting to the Eastern Conference Finals every single year, not because the Celtics themselves were amazing, but because it was a mix between they're kind of good, but the competition sucks. And that's how they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. And everybody was talking about when is Jason Tatum going to do anything? When is Jason Tatum going to go over the hump? Well, he got over the hump when he got better players next to him because he couldn't do it by himself.
Mhm.
Okay, so another ring. Listen, it's not the same, right? If we talk about, do I think Kawhi getting his third ring is better than Jason Tatum getting his second? 1,000%, and I think the panel would agree here, and everybody else would agree.
Mhm.
So enough with Jason Tatum. Moving on to Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks. Listen, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think you're short selling what the Mecca and the Knicks would do. I think one statue wouldn't be enough. I think two statues would be amazing. One inside the stadium and one outside, right? For people who go to Knicks games and they want to see the greatest Knick player ever, Jalen Brunson, right?
Mhm.
The other thing that they're gonna do is that somehow, some way, Villanova is gonna start playing their games at the Knicks arena, okay,
Yep.
at the Madison Square Garden, because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna create what is it, like a partnership,
Large
right, between
system.
Villanova
Yep.
and the Knicks, and it's gonna be amazing. Now, being serious for a second, I don't see this happening. Even in the hypothetical that the Knicks win a championship, what does it make for Jalen Brunson? I'll say this: probably the shortest guy in NBA history to win a ring, but I don't know the stat really. That's the only thing that comes up to mind.
Jason Tatum. Jalen Brunson.
All right, and that kind of covers.
Hold on. Jalen Brunson. I got to rebut that. For the city of New York, for the 5 boroughs, Jalen Brunson is playing with a bunch of nobodies. He's playing by himself. He has the worst team in basketball.
What do you mean?
Exactly. Carl Anthony Scrubs. He's playing with a bunch of nobodies. He is the city of New York. And if he does get a ring, they're going to cancel the NBA season to honor the great Jalen
Oh
Brunson.
my God.
I guess the Mecca has spoken.
And Kevin Durant, you messed up for not coming to New York.
He did the right
Oh
thing.
my God. All right, now that covers everyone in the East. It was a lot shorter. Now, before we ended, is there anyone that has not been listed here that is currently in the playoffs that you could think potentially will have an impact if they were to win it? Like maybe talk about maybe Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
One day, Jimmy Butler will win a ring. It may not be this year. It may not be next year, but it will happen for him one day. And when he does, the whole journey is going to be worth it. That's all I got to say about that.
I think Draymond. If Draymond went to ring and that's his fifth, then he could, in his weird world. And I like Draymond, but he needs to calm down. In his weird world, is going to be like he is now viewed in the enchilance of best defensive players in history, especially with a fifth ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go left here. I think Al Horford would probably be a Hall of Famer.
What a shock! Of course, you're picking Al Horford.
Actually, I think he's a Hall of Famer right now.
No, he's not, because he went to UF.
That's exactly why he. That's exactly why he is.
He made a mistake, and then you have to rectify it in the pros.
I haven't seen any Florida State alumni make it to the.
He should have came to the Mecca. That was my hate on Horford. Whatever.
I mean, clearly he did well for himself because he's got an NBA championship and a college championship.
Yeah, it took him to last year to get one.
Two college championships. He won twice.
You're right. 3 rings. He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
I think that's more than Jalen Brunson.
Ooh.
I think that's more than Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson only got one ring, right?
We gotta get the NBA nations to give the Eagle a Halliburton jersey when the Patriots go to the finals, signed by De'Aaron Fox, by the way.
Dang.
Well, we'll throw a poll out there for it then.
Right.
Should we get the Eagle his Halliburton jersey?
We absolutely
don't waste your time and your money, people. Relax.
All right, for me, it's gonna be Adebayo. Oh no, wait, he got eliminated. And with that, thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you think about the video. Let us know if there's anything out there that we missed out that you think would have a big impact. Maybe you would disagree with something we said. Go ahead and let us know. But most importantly, keep your fandom alive and your warp drive engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Breaking News.